Hello, Serge here from the backyard driving range. Have the clipboard and a question, and the one we have today is one we got from the webinar that we did in DJ's house, DJ and I, at his home. And this one comes to us from Peter W. And Peter says, "Hi Don, when you hit a low punch shot, do you stop at the mitt, swing to the horizontal, or move some way up the tree? And is the takeaway the same? Again, regards, Peter W." Okay, Peter, you want to hit a knockdown. That means you want the ball to go relatively low. Now, usually the number one reason why we want to hit a knockdown is because we have a shot into the wind and we're trying to keep the ball below the wind. So normally the first rule of thumb in a knockdown is take maybe an extra club, one, maybe even two, which will automatically help you keep the ball lower. And naturally you don't have to swing quite as hard, because I always say one of the best ways to control the ball in the wind is to not swing hard because of the wind. Just, if anything, tone down a little bit, because swinging hard can tend to actually get you through the ball faster and kite it up in the air, especially with shorter clubs like 8 and 9 irons and pitching wedges. Now, the first question you ask is, do you finish in the mitt or a little bit higher or even up farther into the finish? I think the number one thing to look at here is your finish should be just about where you want to toss the ball. All right, is if you want to toss it, because if I want to hit a ball that's going to stay really low, that might only get 20 or 20 feet or so above the ground, all the way to the target. First off, that would be pretty darn hard to do with a 9-iron or a pitching wedge. So right off the bat, you might have to go up to maybe an 8-iron, choke it, and make sure you take something off of it to hit that shot. So you have to have a club that can hit that shot. But the key is where do I want to toss it? If I stand here and I'm going to toss it and I want to keep this no more than about 20 feet up in the air, I'm going to have to release it somewhere about there. So that's where, so when I make that swing and I want to hit that shot, I should be cutting it off there. Now in many cases I want to cut it off there, but momentum carries me a little bit farther. But when I'm trying to hit that ball, say 20 feet off the ground, there is no big high finish. All right. See, I want to get it up a little bit higher. And another cause of why you might want to hit a knockdown shot is that say the pin's in a back position or the back of the green, and you want to bring it in lower to make and hit it more towards the front of the green and let it skip back there, rather than taking a chance of flying it all the way back there and maybe hitting it too far. So you hit that knockdown. Another reason would be, let's say when you hit your knockdowns, you tend to draw the ball. All right, so to get a soft wind blowing left to right, or even a hard wind blowing left to right, you can hit that shot and hook the ball against the wind and hold it on that line better, or vice versa. If the wind was blowing the other way, you could hold it up against a fade. But the key is staying lower. The ball's going to penetrate the air and stay on a much more straight line, unless you add curve to it, and that's a whole other topic. So again, let's say I want to hit it about 30 feet, 40 feet up in the air. I'm just going to take my stance and I'll probably finish over there. All right. Now, again, there's a good chance that the club won't actually finish right there, but the whole key is I'm making my hit. Now, again, I'm hitting the ball, and I'm not trying to do anything about staying down extra long. Because again, if I try to force the downswing, it's gonna pull my spine downward, and I'll have a good chance of really making any kind of a bad hit, from chunking it to topping it and just pushing it or blocking it. So I'm making a regular follow through in terms of I'm on that line and I'm hitting it. Now, setup-wise, the last thing I tell a lot of my good players, or anybody, but I get this question a lot from good players. I always seem to nip it too much, and the ball goes out, and then it goes up in a rise like this, and it just kites up into the wind. And invariably, that comes from playing the ball too far back, where we've all been told, put it back and nip and hit down on it. Well, if you put it back and hit down on it, it's like having a ball on a pool table. You hit behind the ball like that, you're giving it backspin. So I don't do that. I play the ball, whatever club I'm hitting, in the same place that I play the ball normally, and all I do is I try to nip it through, and just as I'm hitting it, I'm trying to get through to relatively toe up in the catcher's mitt, and that'll hit it relatively straight. If I wanted to have a little bit more draw, I might try to go through a little bit toe turned over, or even cutting it, come up this way. But remember, if I under release the bottom hand, which is my right hand, that ball's going to rise higher and part of the cut. So I'd only do that if I was into a right to left wind that I was trying to hold the ball up against the wind to stay straight. But I'd probably have to hit an extra club, because it's going to rise into the wind, the wind's going to knock it down. So I play it in the same place, make my normal swing to toe up on a regular straight one, and just try to cut the shot off. So I'm going to stand here, and I'm just going to play this one in my normal place. This is a 7-iron, and I'm just going to try to cut this off somewhere right about here. And as you saw, I cut it off pretty good. And I'm also trying to get relatively vertical with it. I don't want to cut it off and let it turn over too much because that could pull it. So I'm going to stand in here, make my normal swing, and just cut it off. Okay? And so the follow through and everything is still down the line where I want the ball to go. So a knockdown is it has to finish where it has to finish based on what height you want the ball for the club you're using, where you have to stop it to make sure that the ball will go on that trajectory that you want. So play it in its normal position and just know that you're going to cut it off. Okay? Well, that's it for the search for today on knocking it down, hitting knockdown solid and straight so you can control the ball and hit more fairways, hit more greens from the fairway and shoot those lower scores. That's it for the search for today, and I'll be talking to y'all again soon.